everyone. Happy Monday or Tuesday, if you're depending on whether you're an even or odd student. It's Mrs. Manley checking in with you for another day of Integrated Math 1 Standard or Advanced Honors. The first thing I wanted to talk to you about today is some important dates that we have coming up. Feel free to take a picture of the screen if you need to. So coming up Monday, February 15th, so not this Monday, but the next Monday, is President's Day, so that's no school for in-school or distance learning students. And then the week after that, February 22nd through February 26th, is County Benchmark Week. You will be taking county benchmarks in Integrated 1, so in my class, and then also in your English 1 classes, okay? You will be taking Word Wall in your other classes. Okay, so that's February 22nd through February 26th. So 2 weeks from this week. County benchmarks in Math and English, and then Word Wall in your other classes. Okay, the week after that, March 1st through 5th, you'll be taking Word Wall in Math and English, and then you will probably be taking some sort of benchmark in your history and science classes that I'm not sure about. You would have to check in specifically with your teachers. The end of that week, March 5th, is the end of the third quarter. So we're already getting close to being 3/4 of the way through this school year. The report card for this quarter will come out the next week on Thursday, March 11th. And then the following week we will have parent-teacher conferences. So your parents will be sent more information about that. I know we did have in-person meetings first semester, but we also did meetings via Zoom and just phone calls. And then spring break we have coming up March 29th through April 2nd. So not too far away, just about a month and a half-ish, maybe just slightly longer than that. And then after that, we're going to be really hitting the testing season pretty hard. I have some of those dates, but they're still working on the plans for everything. So I'll pass that information along to you when we know a little bit more. Because I know we're going to have some ACT testing dates where only certain students will be coming to school those days. And then we'll be starting EOCs, also known as T and Ready. And I know they have a specific plan for that this year. So let's go ahead and enter our lesson for today. So please, please, please make sure that you have gone ahead and done your first attendance form for the week. If you have not, go ahead and do that, okay? If you have not, go ahead and do that. I know that I normally say, you know, the first one is due by Wednesday at midnight and the second one is due by Friday at midnight. And I know I usually post not to do the second one until Thursday, but if you're an even student and you want to do the first one on Monday and the second one on Wednesday, that would be okay because those are your 2 days. And then, you know, of course, odd students, same thing. You could do one on Tuesday, one on Thursday, or if it's a week where you guys have a Friday class, you know, you could use the Friday one. But as long as you're doing 2 forms a week, not on the same day, okay? They cannot be on the same day. They have to be like a Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, or Wednesday, Friday, Thursday, Friday. Also, please make sure you're completing and submitting your bell work. Most of you are doing really great about this. There's just a few students who are submitting me their LHS Mastery, but they're not doing the bell work or some of the other assignments. So make sure that when you go into KIDM, you are truly looking through each assignment and watching the videos to make sure you're prepared. Something else I wanted to talk about is that making sure you're checking your email, because I reply to your LHS Masteries every week with feedback that you can submit to me to bring your scores up. Okay, so that's something that's been available all year. All you have to do is check your email and then reply. That's the only way you can bring your grade up. You know, not every teacher does that, but I allow you to make corrections on any LHS Mastery, and I allow you to make corrections or do a redo on any test. Okay, so make sure you're taking advantage of that. All right, here we go. So we're going to journey into part 3, I guess, of Systems of Equations. So part 1 was graphing systems of equations. Part 2 was using the substitution method And then today we're going to start on elimination method. Okay. Now, these are all reviews from 8th grade. The only thing that's different is that when it comes to graphing, we are going to look at some graphs that have, one linear line and then also a parabola that makes the U shape. But all you need to be able to do is tell me where those two different types of graphs intersect. We're also going to look at word problems, which you also should have done last year, but it might be a little heavier on word problems in high school than it was in 8th grade. So for solving systems of equations by elimination method, I'm going to go over these instructions, but it's one of those things that just works better when you do it. So your steps are to make sure the two equations, like terms, are lined up, which normally means you're going to have your equations in the form of, it's called standard form, ax plus by equals c, but it's really like x plus y equals something. X plus y equals something, because you want to make sure, because you're going to eliminate either your x's or you're going to eliminate your y's, okay? And then you're going to need to make sure that you have opposites, so one positive, one negative, and then you're just going to solve. So let's go ahead and just get into it. So if you've got your math notebook, if you want to go ahead and head this elimination method, and go ahead and copy down example 1. So I'm going to go ahead and flip my laptop into iPad mode. Right on my screen. Alright, so example 1 that you need to copy down is 5x plus 3y equals negative 19 and 3x plus 3y equals negative 25. So this is what I meant by standard form. So again, standard form is ax plus by equals c. Okay? So this is the form we need to be in for elimination method. The next thing you need is you need opposites. So I'm going to look at my variables. So I have 5 and 8, which are both positive. I have 3 and 3, which are both positive. So either way I go, I'm going to need to make one of my variables negative. Okay? So, check signs. Okay? The second thing you need to be able to do is eliminate. So in order to eliminate, you need the same coefficient. Okay, the same coefficient. Your coefficient, sorry, that looks horrible, but your coefficient is the number attached to the variable. So when I look at my y's, I have a 3 and a 3, which is great, but right now they're positive 3's, so they won't eliminate. So I go back to number 1, which was check the signs. I just need to make one of those a negative 3y. Okay, I can easily do that by taking the first equation and multiplying it by negative 1. Or you could have taken the second equation and multiplied it by negative 1. As long as you can make one of them eliminate. Alright, so let me erase because we're going to need some space over here. Alright, so we're going to rewrite this equation. So negative 1 times 5x is negative 5x. Negative 1 times 3y is negative 3y. And negative 1 times negative 19 is positive 19. So you got to make sure that when you distribute this time, you're distributing all the way across, including on the equal sign. Then I'm going to rewrite my other equation down below. It didn't change. 8x plus 3y equals negative 25. I'm going to draw a line. And from here, I'm just going to combine. So when I'm combining here, I have a negative 5x and an 8x. So negative 5 and positive 8 will make positive 3x. Negative 3y and 3y make 0, so they eliminate. I'll cross those out. And then I have a 19 and a negative 25, which you could also just say 19 minus 25 is negative 6, and then divide. So you get x equals negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2. Remember that we are solving for systems of equations, so I also need to know my y. So I'm just going to take that x equals negative 2 and plug it back in. I can plug it into my original equation, 5 times x plus 3y equals negative 19. Or I could have plugged into my new equation with the negatives, or the 8x plus 3y. You should get the same answer no matter where you go. So 5 times negative 2 is negative 10 plus 3y equals negative 19. Need to get y by itself, so I'll add 10 on both sides so that I can eliminate negative 10 and 10. And that gives me 3y equals, a negative 9 and a positive 10, or negative 19 plus 10 is negative 9 divided by 3 equals a negative 3. Okay? Remember that if you are still struggling with those integer rules, this is something that you would want to use your calculator to help you with. So yes, I would rather you in your head say negative 19 plus 10 is negative 9, then check it in your calculator and see if you're right. If you're right, good. If not, fix it. Because with a system of equations, if you miss even one tiny sign, it's going to throw off the whole thing. Last thing to remember is that we write these as ordered pairs, negative 2, comma, negative 3. Why? Because if we were to graph these two equations, they would intersect at the point negative 2, comma, negative 3. All right, next one. So go ahead and copy down your second example. Remember, you can always pause the screen if I'm going too fast. So on this one, we have 5x plus 3y equals 52. 9x minus 4y equals 56. So again, I always like to check for opposite signs first. That's just the way I do it. You can do it differently. So 5x and 9x are both positive, but 3y and negative 4y are opposites. So that's going to help me with eliminating them. So that tells me I should try to eliminate my y's on this one. Okay. So here's the thing. 3 and 4 are not the same number, but neither are 5 and 9. So we're going to have to do something to manipulate here. So I'm going to have to multiply both equations this time. So I need to think to myself, what's the smallest number that both 3 and 4 go into? And honestly, it doesn't have to be the smallest number. I try to think of the smallest number to keep my numbers low, but it can be any number that 3 and 4 go into. So maybe you think, okay, 12 is the smallest. I need to make them both 12. Maybe you didn't think 12, you thought 24. Well, you can make them both 24, or you could make them both 48. Okay, whatever works for you. So in order to make this 3y a 12y, I would have to say 3 times 4 would give me 12. In order to make this negative 4y a negative 12y, I would say negative 4 times 3 will give me negative 12y. So again, I got to distribute. And when I distribute, I go all the way across. And I'm going to rewrite my new system. So I'm going to start with my first equation. 4 times 5x is 20x, plus 4 times 3 is 12y, equals, and then I get 4 times 52. And here's where you might want to pull out your calculator. Again, I recommend using that Desmos calculator that you can either download or just Google free Desmos calculator and open it up. But I know 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 50 is 200, so this will be 208. And then I need to do the bottom equation. So 3 times 9x is 27x. 3 times negative 4y is negative 12y. And 3 times 56. 50 times 3 is 150. 6 times 3 is 18, so 150 and 18 is 168. Now, when you have multiplied your equations, you need to look back and make sure you have opposites. Okay, if you don't have a positive 12 and a negative 12, for example, you made a mistake when you distributed. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start combining. So I have a positive 20 and a positive 27. So they're both positive numbers, so I'm going to add them. You get 47x. 12 and negative 12 make 0, so it eliminates. And then I'm going to add right here. 208 plus 168 gives me 376. And divide by 47. So again, unless you want to do long division, go ahead and pop in your calculator, which is what I'm going to do right now. And I get x equals 8. Okay, so again, I'm going to take that 8 and I'm going to plug it back into one of my two equations. It doesn't matter which one. I'm sorry, you could plug it in one of your 4 equations. You could do the originals or the new ones. I'm going to go with an original equation because they're smaller. And I'm going to go with the 5x because it doesn't have any negatives in it. So I'll have 5 times x equals 8 plus 3y equals 52. 5 times 8 is 40. Plus 3y equals 52. Subtract 40 on both sides. 52 minus 40 is 12. Divide by 3. And we get y equals 4. So these two equations would intersect at the point 8, 4. If you want to know if you're doing this correctly, you can self-check. So to self-check, all you need to do is take your answer and plug it in. Remember, 8 is x, y is 4. So I could take my original equations. So 5 times x plus 3 times y should equal 52. So I get 40 plus 12 equals 52. 40 plus 12 is 52. 52 equals 52. So that one works. Then I need to check it in the second equation. 9 times x plus 3 times y should equal, whoops, not plus, minus. 9 times x minus 3 times y equals 56. So 9 times 8 is 72. Negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. Do we have a mistake here? 72 minus 12. Oh, I wrote it down wrong. I knew there was a mistake somewhere. That's why you should always check your work. Alright, let's try that again. So it's 9x, so 9 times x, minus 4 times y, not 3 times y, equals 56. So 72 minus 16 equals 56. 72 minus 16 is 56. 56 equals 56. So I know I'm correct. Okay, systems of equations are one of the things that are what are called self-checking. Okay, you can know that you got the correct answer if you plug back in carefully, and your calculator can help you plug in carefully. Because literally, on the free Desmos calculator, you can plug in everything all at once with your parentheses. So, for example, let's see, I don't think I have Desmos pulled up, but I can really quickly. So, what's it, 8.4? All right. Let's pull up the internet. Sorry, it's running kind of slowly. Okay, so in the Google search box, I'm going to type in free Desmos calculator if you have not downloaded it. If you downloaded it, use that. The one that you'll use the most is the scientific calculator, but you could also use the graphing one to help you. So if I put in scientific, and I'm going to go back here. So even though I erased it, I know that it was 8, 4. So my equation is 5x, so it would be 5 parentheses 8 close parentheses, and then it was plus 3y, so plus 3 parentheses 4, and then just hit equals, and you get 52, which matches up. And you could do the other one, 9x minus 4y equals 56, 56. So it works out. Something else you could technically do is you could also go to the graphing calculator on Desmos, which all these are built in if you download the free phone app. Give it just a moment to load. And I think the one on the phone app looks pretty much like this. Okay, So then what you can do is you could say, okay, 5x plus 3y equals 52. Enter. And then put in a second one. 9x minus 4y equals 56. Alright, so here is your system. So you can drag this around. So I could drag it over. And then I could look and see what the solution is. So if I click right here, it tells me that my solution is 8, 4. So I could also easily, very easily, check my elimination method to see if it's correct just by graphing the equations very quickly. Okay, so that's something that could help you. You could also use this back when we were doing sorry, I lost my train of thought. Inequalities, and you weren't sure how you're doing on those. You could actually do inequalities on here as well. And if you need it to be or equal to, you just hit the equal sign after you put in the less than. And then I could do, I don't know, greater than on this one. And you can actually see your shading and everything. And notice that on the Desmos app, you don't have to change them to slope-intercept form first. Okay, it's computer calculator based, so it can do it without. Now when you're doing it by hand, it has to go to slope-intercept form. But you know, this is a great app you could be using to help check your work. Okay. All right, so let's get back to it. So go ahead and try example 3. Okay, start out by deciding what you're going to eliminate, what you're going to multiply by. Go ahead and set it up and give it a try. And then once you're finished and you've got your answer, try using the Desmos calculator either by typing it in to plug it in or by graphing it to see if your answer is correct. And then when you're ready, unpause to see the answer worked out. Alright, so there are a lot of different ways you could have done this one. I'm going to choose to eliminate my y's because one is positive and one is negative already. So 2 and 5, I know the smallest number they go into is 10. I could also just think 2 times 5 is 10 and whatever you get is going to work. So I'm going to multiply 2 times 5 and 5 times 2. Again, since I already have one positive and one negative, I don't have to multiply by any negatives out here. But if your signs are ever the same, one of these numbers on the outside needs to be a negative. So distribute. Okay. So I'm going to get 5 times 5x is 25x plus 10y equals 5 times 8 is 40. 2 times 3x is 6. Is that a 2? Yeah. 2 times 3x is 6x. 2 times negative 5y is negative 10y. 2 times 11 is 22. 10 and negative 10 eliminate. And 25 and 6 give me 31x equals 62. Divide and x equals 2. Then I just need to plug in. So I'm just going to use the top one. 5 times x plus 2y equals 8. 10 plus 2y equals 8. Subtract 10 on both sides. 2y equals negative 2. Divide by 2. And y equals negative 1. Okay. This is not the only way you could have done it. Alright. You may have wanted to eliminate your x's. So if you eliminated your x's, 5 and 3 can both go into 15. So you could have multiplied the top by 3 and the bottom by negative 5, or the top by negative 3 and the bottom by positive 5, as long as you've got that positive and that negative. Again, when you're finished, you know, plug it in and check. So we've got, what is it, 5x plus 2y equals 8. So I'm going to check this way this time. Oops. 5x plus 2y equals 8. 3x minus 5y equals 11. And there you go. Here's my point of intersection at 2, negative 1. What I would say is make sure you're checking it in multiple ways. Okay, make sure you're checking it in multiple ways. The reason that I say that is because you could encounter systems of equations problems. Excuse me, I'm sorry guys. You could encounter systems of equations problems on either the calculator or non-calculator portion of a test. So you want to make sure you can do it with or without a calculator. Okay. All right. So I think this is the last example. No, there might be two more. Two more. Okay. So again, go ahead and try number 4 on your own. Check it in one of the different ways, either by hand, by plugging into your calculator, or by graphing on your calculator. And then unpause when you're ready to see how you did. All right, here we go. So I notice that I have a positive and a negative with my 2 and my 4. Okay, I know that both 2 and 4 can go into 4. Okay, so my second equation already has a 4 in it. I don't need to multiply it. All I need to do is get this to be a positive 4 so they can eliminate. So all I need to do on this one is multiply that top equation by 2. So when I do that, I'm going to get 2 times 6x is 12x, 2 times 2y is positive 4y, and 2 times 30 is 60. Then I'm going to bring in my equation I did not change, and I'm going to start combining. So 12x and 9x is 21x, 4 and negative 4 make 0, 60 and 3 is 63. Divide by 21, and x is equal to 3. Okay, then I'm going to plug back in. 6 times 3 plus 2 times y equals 30. 18 plus 2y equals 30. Subtract 18 on both sides. Get 2y equals 12. So y equals 6. So in this one we get 3, 6. Okay, is that the only way you could have done this one? No, it's not. So I could have, and it's like this for all of them. There's not one way. That's what makes elimination method so fun. I could have said, you know, they'll both go into 8. And so I could have said, okay, I'm going to make my top equation 2 times 4 is 8. Sorry, I lost my pen. So 2 times 4 is 8. And 4 times 2 is 8. So I could say 4, 2. So 4 times 6x is 24x. 4 times 2y is 8y. 4 times 30 is 120. 2 times 9x is 18x. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8y. 2 times 3 is 6. So 24 and 8 will give me what? 42x. Eliminate equals 126. And then divide by 42. So 40, 80, 120, 2, 4, 6. That's going to go into it 3 times, just like before. And then I would plug in 6 times 3 plus 2y equals 30. 18 plus 2y equals 30. Subtract 18, 2y equals 12. Therefore, y equals 6. I still get 3, 6. Okay? I didn't have to eliminate my y's. I could have done the x's. I could have said that 6x and 9x could both go into 18x, and I could have multiplied, you know, the top by negative 3 and the bottom by 2, or the top by 3 and the bottom by negative 2. Okay, there's so many different ways to do these. All right, let's look at our last one, and then you guys are going to practice on delta math. So here's your last one. Negative 6x minus 7y equals negative 10. So this is another one that you could either multiply just one equation, or you can multiply both. Okay, so again, hit pause, try this one on your own, unpause to see how you did, check your answers. So I'm going to choose to say negative positive. 7 can become 14, and I would only have to multiply the top equation. Or I could say, you know, 6 and 8 will both go into 4. I'm sorry, will both go into 24, and I have a negative and a positive. So I could make these negative 24 and positive 24. It's up to you. I am a firm believer in work smarter, not harder. So for me, it would be smarter to go with my first instinct, which is to just multiply the top equation by 2. So I'm going to get 2 times negative 6x is negative 12x. 2 times negative 7y is negative 14y. 2 times negative 10 is negative 20. We've got 8x plus 14y equals 4. 14 and negative 14 eliminate. Negative 12x and 8x give me negative 4x. Negative 20 and 4 give me negative 16. Divide, and x equals 4. And then again, I'm going to plug in. I think I'll do the bottom equation. 8x plus 14y equals 4. 8 times 4 is 42. 32 plus 14y equals 4. Subtract 32. 14y equals negative 28. 5 by 14, and y equals negative 2. So I get 4 comma negative 2. I do want you to understand that you could get no solution or infinite solution on these, even though we didn't have any. Excuse me, guys, I'm so sorry. Haven't had enough coffee this morning. You can still get infinite and no solution on these. What would happen would be that, for example, you could, it's going to kind of make one up, but let's say you multiply an equation and you get like 12x plus 14y equals 16. And then you have negative 12x minus 14y equals 8. Okay. So then, my x's eliminate, my y's eliminate. So all I have left over here is 0 equals 16 is 24. 0 doesn't equal 24. So that would be a no solution. Okay, that would be a no solution. For infinite solutions, it would be similar to this. So I'm going to change one thing. So let's say instead of an 8 right there, if I put in a negative 16 and everything eliminates, now I have 0 equals 0, which is true. And so that would be infinite solutions. Okay, so just know you can still get no solution in infinite with elimination method. All right, so once you in the video here, you're going to see an assignment for your Delta Math to go into Elimination Level 1 and Elimination Level 2. Remember, you just need 5 correct in each one. So, at minimum, you're doing 10 problems if you don't miss any. But every time you miss one, it does take away from your total. Okay. By the end of this week, I believe, your first Delta Math assignment should be completed. So make sure you're doing those because that's how you're getting your practice. Okay. Have a great day and have a great rest of the week.